Hey 7th graders, today we are going to use what we learned on Monday and we are skipping to 7.5 and we are going to talk about box and whisker plots, okay? And the reason why they're called box and whisker plots is because when we create our box and whisker plot, that's exactly what it looks like. It kind of looks like a box with two whiskers on it. So it's kind of fun. So I have two problems for us to do here, and then you guys can practice doing this with your data. So it says step 1, order the data from least to greatest, then find the least and greatest values, the median, and the lower and upper quartiles. So you guys have a little bit of experience with this by what we did on Monday. So we're just going to take our data and we're going to put it in order from least to greatest. So when I look here, it looks like 17 is my lowest number. And I have a couple of those. And then it goes to a 19. And it goes to a 20. A 21. A 23. You want to make sure you guys do this nice and neat. 26. 28. And 29. I always double check. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. Okay, so a couple of these are pretty straightforward. So for example, it says find the least and the greatest value. So if you look here, it's my smallest. Here is my greatest. So I'm going to label this our minimum and our maximum. Okay, and then it says find the median, so that's the middle number, and the middle number we work our way in, remember? So I just keep going, and this is my middle number, which is our median. Okay, and then this is what is new for you guys, and that is the lower and upper quartiles. So the lower and upper quartiles are the middle of the lower half and the upper half. And I'm going to try to make this as clear as possible, but what you have to do is you have to find the median of the lower half, and if there's one number in the middle, you just forget about that number and you're finding the middle of these ones. So what is the middle? What is the middle of 17 and 18? This one's obvious, so you can add them together, divide by 2, but we know that the middle would be 18. And then we're going to switch over here, and we're going to do the middle of the upper quartile. Well, what is the middle of 26 and 28? That is 27. Okay, so I'm going to label this Q1 and Q3. This is also known as Q2. Okay, so we basically have split our data into fourths. So we have this half, this third, and then the four thirds, or 4 fourths. So now what we're going to do is we are going to draw a number line. The number line has to have all of these numbers on there. So even though we don't have let's see, what don't we have? We don't have a 25. We still have to put our number 25 on our number line. So I'm going to make my number line from 17 to 29. Now there are some things we can do to save ourselves some time. So for example, I might not label every single value. So let's say I start at 17. I'll put a line there, but I'm not going to label it. 19, 21, that's 22, 23, 24, 25. This just saves us some time and space. Tends to make things look a little bit tidier. Okay, so this is our number line. And then what you're going to do is you're going to plot some points above the number line, and this is going to be the beginning of your box and whisker plot. So you have to plot your minimum, which is 17. Our maximum was 29. You have to put your quartiles and your median. So our quartile was 18, which is right here. Your median was 21, and your quartile 3 was 27. Okay, so here is where your box comes in. Your box is drawn around the middle 3 points. This is an end. This is the end. And then this is the middle. And then our whiskers go out to your maximum and out to your minimum. And there is your box and whisker plot. Okay, now what this does is it kind of shows you where the majority of the data lies, how spread out it is. Our median is at 21, and there's a big gap between this data. So this shows that the second half of the data is more spread out. It just shows you, even though there's the same number of data points on this side and this side, this is much more spread out on that side. Okay, so we are going to do it again with this data. So these are the heights of basketball players. So the first thing I'm going to do is put them in order from least to greatest. It looks like my lowest number is a 67. So I have 67, 67, 69, 73, 75, 75, 81, and 85. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to work on finding all those things that I need. The first thing I'm going to do is label my minimum, my maximum. I'm going to find my middle number. So I'm going to work my way to the middle. Now in this case, I have 2 middle numbers. So this one is obvious, but if it's not, you just add those 2 together and divide by 2. I know that between 73 and 75 would be 74. So this is my median. Okay, now this case is a little bit different. We are going to find the quartiles, and you have 2 points in the middle. So in this one, we just ignored that middle value. Well, in this one, we are going to kind of split our data here, and we're going to look at this one, and our middle value is going to be between these 2 numbers. And on this one, I have that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be between these 2 numbers. Okay, and so we know between 67 and 69 we have 68. But on the other one, it might not be as obvious. So if you just want to real quick take 75 plus 81, and I get 156 divided by 2, I get 78. So that tells me that 78 is the middle of those. So here is my Q1, this would be my Q2, and this is my Q3. Okay, so now I'm going to make my number line. My number line has to have the lowest number being 67 and the highest number being 85. And I always make sure that I make enough room above my number line for this box and whisker plot. Okay, so 67, 68, 9, 70, 71, 73, 74, 75, 77, 79, 81, whoops, getting kind of close here, 83, 85. Okay, so now I'm going to just plot my points. Minimum was 67, maximum was 85, the median was 74, the lower quartile was 68, and the upper quartile was 78. So my box goes around the 3 points in the middle. And then my whiskers go out to the minimum and maximum points. Okay, there's your box and whisker plot. So the reason why they do box and whisker plots is just to show you how the data is spread out, and then you can use them to make comparisons. So it says, using the box and whisker plots below to answer each question. The red box and whisker plot is basketball players. The blue one is baseball players. So it says, which set of heights of players has the greater median? Okay, well, you guys know what the median is. It's that middle value. So which one had the greatest median? The basketball players. It was much bigger, which makes sense. Basketball players are generally tall. Okay, it says, which players had the greater interquartile range? So this is something new. Interquartile range is the range of just the box. Okay, so basketball, we're just going to compare them here. Basketball had, it was 78 minus 68. 78 minus 68, which is 10. And then baseball had 74 minus 66. 74 minus 66, so that was 8. So who had the biggest range? Basketball had the greatest range. Greatest interquartile range. Okay, and then which group of players has more predictability? Okay, so they say predictability comes from a tighter set of data. So notice how the baseball players have a tighter set of data. It's a smaller box and whisker plot in total, whereas the low on a basketball player was all the way down to 67, but the high was up to 85. So it's a much broader box and whisker plot, which shows that it's not as predictable. It's a wider range of values. So which group has more predictability? The baseball players. And I'm just going to write it out because the data, and I'm just going to say box and whisker plot, is not as spread out. So this tells you that your data is more, not necessarily more reliable, but you can predict where people are gonna, the height of baseball players are gonna fall more so than you can with the height of basketball players. Okay, so there is no worksheet that goes along with this particular set of notes. So you guys are just going to take some of your data and you are going to work on organizing it. You guys are going to need to put a box and whisker plot in your presentation, in your final presentation. So just get practice, and if you need some help organizing it, let me know.